Hi everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. So this week I have a new microphone. Oops. I have a new microphone. So I'd love any feedback on the sound. Is it too loud? Is it too soft? Are you hearing static? Any feedback you can give me on the sound would be great. I'm hoping this is better than the AirPods because those kind of sounded like I was in a tunnel, you know? So anyway, happy Thursday. I hope you're having a great week. Um, so here is what we've got going on this week. On Monday, I posted a holiday decor roundup. So if you are decorating for the holidays, and I know a lot of us are actually starting early this year just because we need it, you know? I mean, my house lights are up. I haven't turned them on yet, but we hire somebody to put them up because I'm not good on ladders. And he was so booked with everybody wanting holiday decorations this year that the only time he could do it was actually last week. So we have our lights up and yeah, we'll be turning them on soon. I'm excited for that. And let's see, what else do I have going on? Oh yeah, so anyway, I was talking about holiday decor. Sorry, I'm trying to connect to the video. Oh good, thank you Valerie, I'm glad the sound is good. Okay, so the holiday decor roundup. If you are decorating for the holidays, there's a whole bunch of projects that will help you decorate. So some great projects there, some of them mine, some of them other people. I will post a link. I'll post all the links that I talk about like I always do. If you're watching on Facebook, I'll put it in the comments. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it in the description of the video. Okay, so that was Monday, holiday decor roundup. Just this morning, and the reason I'm running a little behind today, just this morning I posted my fingerless mitts pattern. They are hand in hand reversible fingerless mitts. So here are the mitts. Here we go, and they're two different layers. Okay, so one layer, oops, sorry. I made them with a combination of a variegated yarn and a solid yarn, and one layer has the solid yarn in front and one layer has the variegated yarn in front, or you know, in the main hand. So I want to show you they're absolutely reversible. You just take one mitt and turn it inside out, and you have the other mitt. So you can wear them both the same, either side that you like, or you can wear them opposite. And I have not yet washed and blocked these, and these are merino wool, so I know, well, at least partly merino wool, so I know they're going to stretch a little bit when I wash them, which is why they're a little snug right at the moment, but that looks better in the pictures anyway. So, but these are not for me, they're for my husband. He asked me the other day for some warmer mitts because I've made him a lot of mitts, but they're always kind of thinner because I tend to do just quick, fast ones. And I'm always hot. So to me, these are really, really warm because it's two layers of DK wool. But this is what he wanted, warm and squishy and thick, and so I made these for him. He loves them, by the way. So yay, win. I also made them for the KAL Corner 2020 knit along. That's my contribution for that for this month. This is the third pattern I've done for the year-long knit along, and I think this is my last one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is my last one. So I will have more for next year's knit along, but there's still a couple months left in this year's knit along. I believe we have a new pattern every 2 weeks. So it might be every month, but I think it's every 2 weeks. But anyway, there's at least a couple more patterns left. So join in that. I'll again put the links in the video, but it is on Facebook. It is KAL Corner is the group name if you want to join in, and there's a year's worth of patterns already and a couple more to come. So that is what I've posted this week. Hi Beth, I see you. Okay, so those are my posts for this week. Do you guys want to see that glove turn again? Okay, so here is one side, and then we turn it inside out. And there is the other side. Yay! So I do want to tell you this is not double knitting. I know when people see something like this, their mind goes automatically to double knitting. It's not double knitting, and here's why. Double knitting is great if you're doing color work where suppose I had a pattern where the other color was peeking through, right? Otherwise, it's kind of slow to keep going back and forth between the two yarns. And for these gloves, the main portion of both hands is just one color. So why take the extra effort to work with two colors for most of the glove when you don't need to, right? So I found it faster, and the way I wrote these was I started here, I worked up to here, and then I worked the next layer up to here, pushed them inside each other, and sewed them shut at the thumbs and the cuff. And that worked up faster because for most of it, you're only working with one color at a time. So these are not double knitting. If you are afraid of double knitting, which you shouldn't be because it's fun, but if you are afraid of double knitting, don't worry. These are pretty easy to knit. There's a lot of moving parts, so I call the pattern intermediate, but most of it, like all of this, is just stockinette with some increases. So that is reversible fingerless mitts. Okay, done talking about that. Let's go on to what's coming up. All right, so Saturday, I don't know, I'm sure most of you know Tamra from Moogly. If you do not know Tamra from Moogly, go right now, well not right now, wait till the video ends, but go to mooglyblog.com. Tamra is, in some respects, I'd call her, she's the person who got me started, you know? I mean, looking at her blog really got me thinking about what I wanted to do. And she is awesome, and she's so sweet, and I love her. And she has a newsletter that is also awesome. And you can sign up for it right on the top of her blog. It's like a banner right on the top of her blog to subscribe to the newsletter. It comes out on Saturdays, and every week she has a tip from a different designer. Well, this week is my tip, and I got Halloween. I'm so excited about that. So I have a tip about something most people find scary coming out in this Saturday's newsletter. So if you're not subscribed, you may want to subscribe. And then of course, Saturday is also Halloween. So I have, oh, you got to see these. These are so cool. Oh, there we go. I have bloody nails for Halloween. I got these from a company called Espionage Cosmetics, one of my favorites to go to. They're just nail wraps, so they just stick on like stickers. And I'll put a link to that in the comments as well. But that is my Halloween nails. So what are you guys doing for Halloween? Are you guys going trick-or-treating or doing any of that? There's been so much discussion in our neighborhood groups, and I think we've decided, just because me and my husband are both high risk and numbers are going up in our area, I think we've decided not to do trick-or-treating, but I'm really curious what everyone else is doing. Are you going trick-or-treating? Are you celebrating at home? Are you, hopefully you're being safe. Whatever you're doing, you know, I hope you're wearing the masks and keeping the social distance and all of that stuff. I know some of our neighbors are doing those candy shoots where they've built these long tubes so they can like throw candy down the tube and it lands in the kid's bag. So I think that's a fun solution. But I'm just curious what everyone's doing. I know some people are putting out tables in the driveway. If you're watching, let me know what you're doing for Halloween. So Halloween, I just hope everyone's safe though. That's the main thing. Just have fun, but be safe. And remember to set your clocks back on Sunday because it's daylight savings time for those of you who have that. Some of our viewers are lucky enough not to have that to deal with. And then of course, Tuesday we got to vote. That is the big thing. I hope everybody's voted by now or is going to vote on Tuesday. And then this brings us into next week's fun on Stitches and Scraps. We have another knit pattern. I know it's been a little knit heavy with these gloves and then another knit pattern coming up, and I did a bunch of knit demos recently. I promise we will get back to crochet also, but I want to show equal love to knitting. So I have a knit hat that I made actually back in January and never got around to posting. So that's going to come out on Wednesday. And I think that's pretty much the main thing for the week. If I have time, I'll do a tutorial, but honestly, the week's pretty booked up. I've got a lot of CGOA stuff going on. The CGOA call for teachers is out for both the regular classes at conference and the online classes. So I'm really hoping we get a lot of submissions, a lot of great classes. If you know something you can teach, definitely go on the CGOA website, it's crochet.org, and submit it. Let's see what you got. For the online classes, it's just one-off classes too. You don't have to worry about having, a whole portfolio of classes that you can teach for the whole conference or anything like that. But submissions for those are closing very quickly. So then we've got all the selection process coming up and all of that. So that's taking up a bit of my time, but I'm hoping we get some great classes. And then, let's see, what else? Yeah, I might do a tutorial, but I don't know if I'll have time this week. So it might just be the knit hat this week. So now let's go on to the demo that we've been working on. So we have been talking about crochet cables. And last week I made a swatch with you of just some simple straight up cables like this. I'm going to switch over. Let's see, here we go. So we made just these straight up cables. Okay. I did redo the swatch. And the reason I redid it was we had gotten into some treble crochet cables and taller stitches, and I wanted to just go back to double crochet. So on the swatch for the right side, everything, the background stitches are all single crochet, and the cables, the post stitches, are all double crochet because they're longer. So the back side of this swatch, I'm doing just single crochet. I'm not doing the cables on the back. Today I want to show you, and I'm just doing this last single crochet row to get back over. Today I want to show you how to make your cables move, because we've just been doing them straight up and down, and now I want to show you when you want them to move to the side. So, like here, these two cables are 2 stitches apart from each other, right? There's 2 bare stitches in the middle. I want to bring them close together because next week I'm going to show you how to make them cross. So I want to move all of these cables over by 1 stitch. So here's the thing about cables. The bottom of the cable is where you're working into, right? That determines where the bottom of the cable is. The top of the cable is determined by where you start the stitch. So if I was doing straight lines, my first cable would be here. Instead of this stitch, I would do a cable around this stitch, right? I do a front post stitch around this one. But I don't want it straight up, I want it shifted over by 1 stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do the cable here. I'm going to do another single crochet. And now I'm over this stitch and I'm going to do this cable, right? So I'm starting, or I'm, my base of my cable is here in the second stitch of the row. Okay, but the top of my cable is here in the 3rd stitch of the row. And really that's how you move cables. So if I wanted to move this cable over this way, I would start it here. Instead of being in the 3rd stitch of the row, I would start it in the 2nd stitch of the row. So really you're just planning where you want the top of the cable to be, and then you come pick it up from where you want the bottom to be. Okay, and so that is that cable in the 3rd stitch. You'll see it more clearly when I do another one. This cable was in the 3rd stitch. Now I'm going to put it in the 4th stitch. Okay, and now you can see that those 2 cables have turned, and it will sort of pull it in a curve. You're not going to get those really, like, it doesn't go in a perfect angle like that. It's actually going to pull the stitches below it too, so you get kind of a curve. Now these ones, I want them to curve in this way. So there's used to be 2 stitches in between, right? But I've used up one of them by working 1 stitch over this way, right? So this is stitch 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now these used to be stitches 6 and 7, but I'm going to make them stitches 5 and 6. So here is 5, and here is 6. Okay. And if you want a closer look at the front post stitches, I did that in last week's video, so be sure to take a look at that if you want to see a really slow, how to do a front post stitch. That's in that. And then I've got, so this was stitches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have 7 and 8 left over, so I'm just going to do single crochets in those. Okay, and there is the cable bent towards each other. Let's zoom in a little bit and get my hair out of the way. I swear I shed worse than my dog. But here are the cables kind of, you can see them kind of leaning towards each other now. Okay. I wanted to show you something else too. Notice that this length is a little bit less than this length. Okay, if you're just moving one stitch, you can get away with using the same stitch, a double crochet. But suppose I was moving this cable over by 2 stitches, right? Well, then I'd probably want a longer stitch because it's got to cover more distance. So if you don't want the cables to be flat, if you want them to be puffier, I need a little more. There we go. You can, instead of working double crochets, you can up it to a treble crochet or a double treble or whatever you need to do. So let me show you what that looks like. It'll just make the cable a little puffier, a little looser, and give you that extra room to shift over by a stitch or 2. So you want to pay attention to that if you're designing something or working on something where the cables move a lot. Keep in mind that you might need to account for some extra length in the cable. There you can see that that makes it puff up a little bit more. It's not quite so tight to the fabric. So that was with treble crochets. Next week, I'm going to take these 2 cables that we've been working on, or these 4 cables, and I'm going to make them cross. So I'll show you how that works next week. And that's it. That's what I've got for this week as far as how to make cables move. And again, you can make them move in any direction. You can make them move any distance you want. You could even skip a few rows and come down and do a really long cable down to here. Play with it. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to show you a little bit on this windy square. If you remember, we had looked at this square. I don't know how to show you a pointer, but if you look at that center cable, right along the center cable, you can see at the top where it starts to curve to the left. That is exactly what we just did. And I know the picture is sideways to look at it, but it's going, the stitches, the rows are going from left to right here. So as you get closer to the right, that's the top of the piece. And you can see how the cable kind of curves over to the side. That's exactly what I did with this. I moved it by just moving where the start of the stitch is. So that's the kind of things you can do with moving cables. Obviously, if you are reading a pattern, it should show that in the pattern exactly where you're supposed to do the stitch. But that, if you ever wonder why, wait, the cable was in the 3rd stitch, now it's in the 5th stitch, what's going on? They're making it bend and curve to give you those nice smooth curves and shapes. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for watching. Does anybody have any questions? I am looking at Facebook now. I'm going to pop over to YouTube real quick and see if anyone's watching on there. It doesn't seem to be broadcasting to there. That is weird. Let me see. Yeah, it still says connecting. Okay, so I guess the broadcast to YouTube did not work out well. I will upload the video to YouTube. Also, I've been having broadcast issues between trying to broadcast to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, just like this, where it's not going through. So I'm thinking next week about trying to just broadcast to YouTube. So if you're used to watching me on Facebook, connect with me on YouTube next week. I'm just going to try it, see if it makes the broadcast cleaner, because I've been having a lot of, like, when you're looking at my hands close up, it gets grainy and stuff like that when it's trying to broadcast to both places at once. So maybe I will alternate every week, or maybe I'll just do YouTube and then upload the videos on Facebook. Not sure yet, but for next week, for sure, YouTube only. And Valerie, you're sewing buttons on ear savers. Cool. I love those. Those are fun to make. Are you making them to sell, or are you making them as gifts for Christmas? I know there's a delay, so I'll give you a minute. But yeah, that's it for this week otherwise. I will read the comment later. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye.